Welcome to the Movie Review Mom YouTube channel. My goal is to save you time and money by giving you the scoop on filmmaking quality and content. And content is a big one for this film. I want to give you no spoilers, but I do want to give you a heads up. So today, the movie I'm reviewing is called Dear Santa. This odd, twisted Christmas comedy is now playing on Amazon Prime Video, Fandango at Home, Paramount Plus, and Apple TV. The film is rated PG-13. It's an hour and 48 minutes, and my overall movie review mom grade is a C. So what I'm going to do is give you an overview in a nutshell, and then I'll point out things I liked, things I didn't like, tips for parents, and that's the big one here. Funny lines, interesting lines, themes worth talking about, and then we'll finish up with recommendations for other films that are sort of similar. How's that sound? All right, so in a nutshell, the story is about a young boy who mails his Christmas wish list to Santa with one crucial spelling error, sending his letter to Satan instead. And I'm a professor at a university and I teach English among other subjects. And so this one kind of hits me hard. Anyway, I'll tell you more. The dark comedy was directed by Robert Farrelly, who also co-produced the film. Writing credits go to Ricky Blitt and Peter Farrelly. Now I keep saying, but I'll tell you more, because some Christian groups are trying to ban this movie. I don't know if they've seen it or, they just don't like kids' movies about Satan. And I think that's the crux of it. So let me start off with quick tips for parents. I would not call this a family-friendly movie, partly for that reason. There is some profanity and other words like fudge nuts and ho, ho, frickin' ho. So some profanity, but not a big, serious F-bomb. So that's what helps it to stay in the PG-13 category. There are some crude comments. There's lots and lots of farting. Married couple bickers and fights a lot. And there's talk of cancer. We see bullying. We see some satanic images. There is talk and demonstration of dyslexia, obviously, because the kid didn't spell the name Santa correctly. And then there's talk of God versus Satan versus Santa. Okay, so that might already sound problematic to some of you, and you're going to say, forget it, forget the whole thing. Some of the themes that are illustrated very well are kindness to others, a selfless act, forgiveness, family, friendship, and acceptance. All right, so now here's the long list of things I really did like about the movie. First of all, Jack Black. I've just been a fan of his since forever. Jack Black plays Satan in The Naughty Flesh. His voice is super deep, and you're like, whoa, that doesn't even sound like him. He charms, like always, sings like always, and works his quirky magic. His face on the poster will definitely draw in audiences. Jack Black and the director worked together on the movie Shallow Hal back in 2001. Did you ever see that? I actually thought that was pretty cute. Robert Timothy Smith plays the young boy, and he too is so charming and adorable and does a great job. I can see him having a really good future in film if he wants one. Other cast members include Keegan-Michael Key. I mean, he's always a big hit. Hayes MacArthur, PJ Byrne, Brian Howie, and two adorable kids, Kai Ketch, and hopefully I'm pronouncing these names correctly, and Kate Friedman and Jaden Carson Baker, and they all are cute. There's a funny cameo in Act 3. No spoiler, but you will recognize his voice. So we don't see him, but you will hear him, and you should be able to, no, I take that back. We do see him, but he's sort of camouflaged, and you might not be able to recognize him. Okay, I had to think about where he was in the movie. Anyway, Post Malone gets a serious shout out and quite a bit of screen time in this movie. There's a funny reference to the movie One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, which many young viewers will not get at all. And even a lot of older viewers may not have ever seen that movie. That was with Jack Nicholson a long time ago, and one movie that really set him up for stardom, I think. There's an interesting conversation between the parents about why bad things happen in this world. And if you do watch this with your kids, take time to talk about that, because I thought it was interesting. And then share your opinions and philosophies and religious doctrine with your family. Keep watching after the final rolling credits to see another funny scene. Now, I always love movies that feature making three wishes, just because the ensuing scenarios and consequences can be so intriguing. There are a couple of plot twists. I love plot twists. And the movie actually has more heart than you think it might, especially because you're like, oh no, this is a movie about Satan. But I'm just saying there is good in this movie. I'm not saying it's for everybody, but there is some good, and definitely fodder for good conversations with your family or with whomever you watch the film. Now, onto the list of things I didn't like. First of all, as I mentioned, a lot of Christians are disturbed by the title of the movie and just the whole idea of it. And so, if you are very, very conservative, then I would just simply say this movie is not for you. If you can be playful with Christmas, and don't mind unconventional Christmas type of movies, then you might get a kick out of this. It is a Christmas movie because there's lots of talk of Santa. It's during Christmas season, and there is a lot of good Christmas cheer to be had. So, like I said, my goal is to always give you the heads up on the content so that you can decide whether or not you think this film is right for you. There's a lot of humor, but not all of it lands. And one of the scenes wastes way too much time on potty humor, the lowest level of humor there is, in my opinion. Now, whenever I watch movies, I instantly hear funny lines and interesting lines, and I write them down so that I can share them with you, so you can get a taste for the dialogue and the script writing quality. You can see all of them on my written review at moviereviewmom.com, but I'm going to share a couple of them with you right now. So, Gibby is the name of the best friend. He's played so well by Jaden Carson Baker. And he has a cute little growth moment in the film, even though he's sort of a secondary character. Anyway, so he's talking to his buddy and he's like, parents can be weird. They like to know stuff, because he's warning his friend, you need to tell your parents about some of the stuff that's going on or whatever. Now, the character played by Robert Timothy Smith is talking about, kids that are not good looking versus kids that are just automatically popular because they're good looking. And he says, people that are pretty are usually mean. And I thought that was interesting. And again, if you watch this with your kids, have a conversation with them about that. Anyway, it's worth a conversation for sure. And then there's a moment where Jaden Carson Baker's character and Robert Timothy Smith's character are talking. And so Jaden says to Robert's character, how did it go? And then Robert's character says, I might have to change schools again, because things are not going well with him. Now, finally, the little boy actually meets Satan. And at first he thinks he's sort of a dark version of Santa. Because he wrote to Santa, he thinks. And so he's trying to figure out what is so off about this Santa character, because it's Satan, Jack Black, who shows up. And then finally, he figures it out. He's like, you're not Satan. You don't exist. And then Satan says, really? Do you usually write letters to people who don't exist? Okay, so then the conversation continues and Satan says some things. And anyway, and so the little boy says, are you insane? And Jack Black, who plays Satan, says, I prefer sanity adjacent. I just thought that was funny. Okay, so Santa gives this little boy three wishes, and without revealing any spoilers, the boy wants to go see Post Malone. Maybe that's a spoiler. Well, I talked about Post Malone already. But anyway, so he wants a ticket to go see Post Malone. And so Satan gives him a ticket. And then the little boy brings his best friend along. And he's like, well, what about the ticket for my son or my best friend? And Jack Black says, look, even Satan can't out-trick Ticketmaster. I'm not a bot. I thought that was funny. And then towards the end of the movie, the little boy is talking about lessons that he's learned. And he's like, I was drunk with power, and he's this little kid. I thought that was cute. Now, for interesting lines, Jaden Carson Baker's character says, soldiers are brave. I'm just courageous. And without giving you the whole context of that conversation, but I thought that that was sweet. And there's a lot of courage that's represented in and fear in this movie by several characters. And so Robert Timothy Smith's character says, stand up to any bully and you'll see their true colors. And so all of the kids learn lessons, and even Satan has a little character growth arc, which I really enjoyed as well. So like I said, there is some good. Now, before we go, I wanted to share some other dark movies like this on the naughty list that you might also like. In other words, dark Christmas films. The first one that came to my mind instantly while I was watching this is Krampus. And Krampus is actually talked a little bit about in this movie. Now, growing up in America, I never heard of Krampus until, I don't know, 10 years ago, maybe. It's just not a thing, whereas it's very well known in Europe. Anyway, so the movie Krampus is not for little kids. I thought it was kind of spooky, creepy. So teenagers and up, I would say for that. And then more of an adult movie is Violent Night. It's rated R, but it's actually pretty funny. It's Christmassy. It's dark humor, Christmas, and it's not like adult movie, meaning that it's rated R for sexual content, but rated R for violence because stuff happens anyway. So there are a couple of recommendations. If you like the dark Christmas route, then you can check those out. All right, so thanks for watching. When you get a minute, run over and visit me on social media. I'm everywhere as Movie Review Mom, but also as Trina Boice, where you can learn about my 33 books that are published, and they're out there in bookstores and on Amazon, of course. My online courses.
Can you say that again?
Alexa, stop. Okay, sometimes while I'm talking, all of a sudden my Alexa device kicks in. Oh, I just said her name. Oh, she didn't turn on. What else? Anyway, say hi, comment down below, like, subscribe. You know the drill. Have a fabulous day, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye for now.